Hi, boys and girls. Moving right along. Let's go ahead and approach ordering decimals and figure out how to put them in order from greatest to least or least to greatest. I have two tips for you. First, make sure you look in the directions to tell which direction you have to go. Either greatest to least, least to greatest, because if you don't have that, if you put them in the wrong order, you're going to get it wrong. So please make sure you check your directions. Second tip. All of the place values to the left are always going to be larger than the place values to the right. So let's look at our place value chart. So if you'll notice here on our place value chart, we've got our decimals place. All right. The farther to the right that you go, the smaller the numbers get. So in this case, on our chart here, the hundreds place is the farthest to the right. That means that is the smallest place value. Even though it has the word 100 on it, it's still smaller. And if you were to go this direction, this place value would be the thousandths place. This would be even smaller. Okay, so in this case, tenths place is bigger than the hundreds place because it's one to the left from hundreds place. Now you go to the next place value, is the ones place. Ones place is even farther to the left than these two place values. So the ones place is always bigger than any of the decimal place values. How about the tenths place? Next farthest, next largest. So if you keep going towards the left, you're going to come up against larger place values. So just keep that in mind. Everything to the left is the largest. So when you are ordering them, you should always start with the number that is farthest to the left. So I'm going to teach you two different ways to order decimals. One, line up the decimals and then put place markers in the empty spots. So if you have, the first number is 7 hundredths, the next number is 1 and 25 hundredths, and the next one is 73 hundredths. Okay, I've lined up the decimals, lined up the place values. I want to put place markers in so that I keep myself straight. So I'm ordering it from greatest to least. So which one is the farthest to the left? You've got the ones place. I see 1 and 2 zeros. So automatically, I see that 1 and 25 hundredths is the largest place value. So we're going to cross that one out. The next largest I'm going to go to is the tenths place. So I see a 0 and a 7. Right off the bat, I can tell 73 hundredths is the largest number. And then what do we have left? 7 hundredths. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Line up the decimals, line up the place values, and then go start from the left and work your way to the right. All right, second way to do it. Temporarily forget about your zeros, your decimals, and then put in markers like we did when we lined up the decimals. So I put in this marker, and then I put in this marker. Okay, so in this case, I look at this, and I say, okay, 125, I've got 007, I've got a 7 here, and then I've got 73 here. So let's look at the largest number. 125 would be the largest, so that... And remember, put your decimal back in when you do your answer, because if you don't, then it will look like 125 and it'll be wrong. So make sure you put your decimal back in where it belongs. Okay, so we did 125. Now if you do 7 and you got 73, which one's larger? 73. So I'm going to put my decimal in there, 73. And then the only one that I have left is 07. So the only way this is going to work is if you put in those places, so the zeros in the places that are not there, so that you can see where the numbers will line up. Let me show you an example of how that could possibly backfire on you. All right, so if you have 18 and you have 2 and 73 hundredths, and then let's say we have 2 tenths. Okay, so if you just stop and you take out your decimals right now, you'll look at that. Of course, you'll see 273. That would be the first place. But in this case, when you look at this, you have 19 and you have 2. So you automatically would think 19 would be larger than the 2. But this is a 2 in the tenths spot. It was 2 tenths. So you've got to put your place markers in there. So once we put our place markers in there, we can clearly see that 19 is smaller than 20. So our next number would be 2 tenths, and then our last number would be 19ths, and then we put our decimal back in that number as our final answer. So make sure you put your whatever the largest number is with the most place values filled in, you actually put the zeros placeholders in for the other numbers, and then it will be clear to you what order it should be in. All right, thanks.